Okay, good afternoon. Great to see everyone. Before we get started, I would like to say congratulations to David Clymer of the Tennessean on his recent retirement. And I respect the job that he has done and everyone does in this room for promoting college football and creating such positive momentum each and every day. So really respect him and wanted to say congratulations. In terms of the Alabama game and moving forward, pretty much the same. From the post-game press conference, was very proud of our players. I thought they played with great competitive grit, showed great effort, and gave us an opportunity to win the football game. And when you really look at it, we play winning football, and we put ourselves in position to win football games for 56 minutes. Now, how do we continue to elevate our play to finish games off, to close games off? And that's been, the topic after the game, and it'll be the topic again today is, how can we continue to elevate our game, elevate everything by which we're doing. But our kids come to work every day. We've only had one goal in our football program when this season started, and there's only been one goal, and that's to be a better football team, a better football program each and every day. And, those goals are still in place, and I just believe that if you have that goal and you accomplish that goal, it provides positive momentum and energy, and the rest takes care of itself. But, again, I thought our kids showed great competitive grit. Moving forward to Kentucky, very, very talented football team. Going to be a great challenge in and of itself. Going over to Lexington, going to be a great environment. 7:30 kickoff. A lot of respect for what Mark is building at Kentucky. He's done a very, very good job there. Very, very, very explosive on offense. Can score anytime they get the football, can score anywhere on the field. They do a great job of distributing the football, running the football. Very, very familiar with Patrick Towles, being right from outside of Cincinnati. We recruited him at Cincinnati. He was our number one target and have a lot of respect for him. He's a winner. Comes from a great, great high school football program. And I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in our conference. Defensively, very, very physical, play with very good effort, very, very stout up front, and have the luxury of playing man-to-man coverage anywhere on the football field as well. So it's going to be a great challenge this week, and it starts just like every week with a great week of preparation.
Butch, the last couple of weeks leading into the Alabama game, you talked about generating negative plays on defense. How big is that you did that in Alabama and continuing to do that moving forward?
Paul, it's critical, and I thought that was one of the storylines that really put us in position to win the football game at Alabama. Is we had 10 tackles for loss. We were able to impact the quarterback with 5 sacks, and that's very, very important to really stay, defensively speaking, ahead of the chains and create third and long opportunities, third and long situations. I thought our defensive front came off the football. I thought they used their hands very well, and I thought they had a relentless approach to impact the quarterback. I thought we leveraged the football better. The first quarter, we didn't tackle very well, but I thought as the game moved on, we tackled better, and we did a much better job of leveraging the football.
How big has Jalen Reeves-Maybin been in creating those plays behind the line of scrimmage?
Yeah.
You've been around the linebacker that he just seems really active behind the line.
Jalen works his craft every day. He lives the game. He spends a tremendous amount of time studying the opponent, understanding schemes, and, that's part of the thing is he's played a lot of football for us now, and he's able to come back after a series and sit down on the bench and tell you everything that they're doing and tell you the run scheme, the pass protection scheme, and that comes with experience. That comes with now him being a veteran player, but it also comes with the amount of time that he puts in his preparation each and every week. He has very, very good instincts, so really, really been happy with his play and what he's bringing, and I think he's a great resource for Darren Kirkland to learn from him for many years to come, and really the intangibles and the effort that it takes to play winning football each and every day.
Coach, with Medley being 9 of 16 with 3 misses against Alabama, are you planning on opening the kicker competition up moving forward?
No, Aaron Medley's our kicker.
And with continuing to go with Medley and seeing how well the offense has performed the past couple of weeks, when you get into that no man's land, should we kind of expect you to maybe go for it a little more often on 4th down instead of trotting him out there right now?
Well, there's so much that goes into that decision-making process. It goes in with the elements, the wind, the distance of the kick, and the distance in terms of, is it 4th and 2, is it 4th and 3, and then what does their 4th down defense consist of? So it's not just something that, go there and you say you're going to do this. There's a whole plan in place, but we have great confidence in Aaron. He makes those kicks in practice, and he'll get it corrected. He'll get the details corrected, and we're going to need him down the stretch as well.
Butch, there have been a number of opportunities in the 4th quarter to put games away defensively, and you haven't been able to make some of those stops. Where's the defense's confidence in that situation, and are you doing anything differently late in games on defense?
Well, Jimmy, we have had opportunities to close games out, and unfortunately we've come up short. And, sometimes we could have closed games out maybe in the 3rd quarter or even the 2nd quarter, not just the 4th quarter. But, I think some of it, I talked to a lot of coaches, a lot of individuals said sometimes it's a byproduct of lack of depth. When you have players playing 70, 80 plays, the ability to close games out. But I think it's more mentality. I thought one of the critical plays in the game last week was we could have basically had a 2nd and 20-some-odd situation. Instead, it ended up being a 2nd and 12 situation and still a manageable distance coming up. We did a great job of applying pressure to Coger, but we weren't able to get him down and allowed him to scramble to get back to make it only a 2-yard gain. Those are things that are critical plays, but our players are giving great effort. We'll spend a lot of time, which we do every week, on really trying to challenge our players in those type of situations in practice. We have a lot of things to learn from, but we have confidence that we'll stop a team, and that's what I spoke about earlier when we started today, was just elevating our play. Whether it's 3rd down or the end of the situation, it's sack time for a defensive lineman. That's got to be kind of your mind thought. As a corner, you want the ball thrown at you. Throw the ball at me. Same thing with a linebacker with his zone drops and his discipline. And, it is what it is in terms of depth. That's not going to change. But we'll continue to teach those situations. We'll try to rehearse those situations in practice and learn from the instances that we've had.
Just want to get the injury update on Ja'Shawn Robertson, Brett Kendrick, Preston Williams. Where are those guys?
Dustin, I'll know a little bit more. We anticipate Ja'Shawn Robertson being ready to play. We'll know a little bit more today when we go out, and then obviously in pads tomorrow. Preston Williams is doing everything he can to get back. We've been told he'll practice on Tuesday, so we'll know a little bit more. In terms of Brett, we'll know a little bit more on him on Tuesday as well. But right now, of the 3 individuals you just mentioned, I would say Ja'Shawn Robertson is probably ahead of them. But, all 3 individuals are working very hard to get back, so I would not rule any of those out at this particular time. Yeah, and he's got a knee, too, that's been bothering him, so it's a combination. It's more so the knee that's limiting now than the elbow. And Brett's done a good job in terms of rehab and showing the toughness, and all our players have. That's the thing, is they all want to get back out there. They all want to get to play. They're all putting the work in the training room. So, again, I would anticipate all 3 being available, but I'll know more later in the week.
Coach, it looks like even if Preston Williams returns, you got about 7 healthy wide receivers. Last year we saw him kind of get reps at running backs in a potential emergency role, but is there any chance that Evan Berry gets reps on offense at all?
Not right now. We're going to work Evan Berry a little bit more in at safety. He's had a couple really good weeks of practice, so we'll get him some reps at safety, and we have been very, very limited at the wide receiver position. And I think it was about 4 or 5 weeks ago, everyone was saying, well, you should only play 3 wide receivers or 4 wide receivers. Well, you see why you can't do that. We need to have 10, and that's why you develop them. That's why, we have to recruit a bunch in this recruiting class. But I give our receivers a lot of credit. They've been warriors. They're playing extensive plays. They're giving great effort. Josh Smith was exhausted after the game. He played with great effort. Josh Malone has done a very, very good job. He made some difficult catches in some difficult situations Saturday. He's been a warrior. All of them. Marquez North isn't 100% healthy right now, and he's giving everything that he has. So I've been really, really proud of our wide receiver position, just like all of our positions, but they're giving everything that they have. But we've been limited at times to 6. And when you're running the type of up-tempo offense that we're running, you're going to be hard-pressed in the country to find any offense that only plays 6 wide receivers, sometimes 5, and that's just been based on the injury. And then there's a cumulative effect throughout the course of a week of practice, and it limits you what you can do. And I think it hurts your defense as well in terms of Skelly and all the different things that you do in practice as well to not only prepare your offense but prepare your defense.
Butch, we saw Justin Martin more Saturday than we've seen him all season long. Where is your confidence in him? Where's the defensive staff's confidence in him? And where's he at from a consistency standpoint in terms of mental bust and those types of things?
We have a lot of confidence in Justin Martin. Our players do, our coaches do, everyone in our football organization has a ton of confidence in him. He's an individual who has great instincts, great length, and he's very, very competitive. And again, here's a young man that really didn't have training camp. I believe he practiced the first 3 or 4 practices and then basically missed all of training camp with an injury. And to his credit, he worked exceptionally hard to get himself back. And I thought he did some very, very good things. A lot of it, again, is just he needs as many repetitions as possible in terms of technique and all that. But he plays instinctfully, and thought he played a very good football game. Some of the catches, those are difficult catches to defend, back shoulder throws. Give them credit. They made some great plays, but Justin was always there. I thought he did a good job of tackling in space and leveraging the football. So I thought he had a very productive day for us. I thought he played winning football for us.
You talked about recruiting Patrick Towles. What do you remember about that recruiting process? What do you remember about him, and how close did y'all come to getting him at Cincinnati?
Well, he has some great bloodlines at the University of Kentucky throughout his family. So we knew it was going to be a challenge in and of itself, but he's a winner. He's won numerous state championships. He's a leader. You can see that. And we knew he could make every throw. He's very, very active. He's athletic. He can make plays with his legs. He can make plays with his arms, or with his arm rather. And he can complete all the throws, but I think he throws a deep ball very, very well. He has very good velocity behind his ball, and he can make the throws with awkward body positions when the play breaks down. So, what he's been able to do over a short period of time in his collegiate career doesn't surprise me. He has a great makeup, and it's going to be a great challenge for us.
Butch, when you took over, Michael Pilardi had some rough seasons, and he talked about the confidence that you gave him just having his back. Talk about past experiences with this similar type of situation, and how much you feel like it gives a player confidence, specifically a kicker, when the coach or their teammates have their back.
Well, it does. I think that's when you find out about everyone through shared adversity. And when you're persevering, you find out who's really in it with you, and you find out who's not in it with you. And, we believe in Aaron Medley. He's shown it. He's proven it. And it's almost like a golfer. Now, I can't give you much golfing lessons because I don't golf, and I'm not a very good golfer. But it is, some of it is all mental. Some is it the ability to correct your mistakes. Some of it is playing the wind elements and wind conditions. There's so much that goes into it. Sometimes, it's the snapper and the holder. They set the temperament for the place kicker. But, we have great confidence in him, and I know Aaron has great confidence in himself as well. and he went back to work on it on Sunday when we got back, to correct some of the steps and the strides and all that. So we believe in him, and, we're going to be there for him, and we're going to need him down the stretch.
Coach, you started 2 true freshmen on the right side of the offensive line Saturday. How did Chance and Jack hold up after you saw the film, and how much can they benefit from what they've got the last 2 games?
Well, they'll continue to benefit from that. The experiences that they're gaining going against the type of defensive fronts they're seeing will only make them better. But now it's, what do you do with those experiences? How do you apply them this week? How do you apply them the following week? How do you apply them the next week? And that's, we always say experience is critical, but it's not just that. It's being able to gain and use those experiences to your advantage. It's not just being a year older, but being a year better. All those things that go into that. But I thought they did a very good job. Again, with some challenging circumstances, playing one of the best defensive fronts in all the country. I thought they were poised. They were calm. Very few mental errors, which is a tribute to them putting in the extra time that they need. But what you see at times is just a byproduct of being a freshman. They're going against junior and seniors who've been in a strength program now for 3, 4 years. You can see that. But I thought they competed, and I thought they did a very good job. I was really proud of them.
Butch, Corey Vereen had an outstanding game.
Yep.
Talk about why you think he was so productive, and is that something you expect from him going forward?
Tell you what, Jimmy, I thought Corey really came off the football. He showed great explosiveness off the ball. The thing that I liked about him is he worked an edge of the defender. He was able to reduce his surface, and he played with a relentless approach that we've come to know him to play with that. The one sack I thought was an effort sack. He did a great job of, running the quarterback down and not giving up. Also, I thought there were times in the secondary where, we had opportunity sacks where our secondary did a good job of know where to go with the football. And I thought sometimes our defensive tackles got a push. And very few do you just get unimpeded sacks. There's effort sacks and there's opportunity sacks. And a lot of times it may be your 3 technique and 1 technique, push in the pocket, collapse in the pocket. It may be the other defensive end forcing the quarterback to push the pocket. So I thought our defensive line really complemented themselves. We were able to generate pressure with a 4-man push at times. But I thought Corey's effort, his get-off, and his relentless approach to impact the quarterback showed.
Coach, even though he's a first-year player, Justin Martin seems to play with a lot of attitude and confidence out there. Do you think that's something the rest of your defensive unit can benefit from, particularly as a game wears on?
Absolutely. That's what we want to recruit here, is individuals that love football, that love to compete. When you think of Justin Martin, I get excited because he loves to compete. He loves football. He wants to be in those trying situations. He wants to be in those competitive matchups, just like Juwan Jennings. Juwan Jennings is the same way on offense. He's a competitor. He wants the football. He wants to run down on kickoff. Justin Martin has been one of our most productive players on kickoff as well. When you look at two true freshmen and what they're doing on our kickoff team with him and Juwan, but just that competitive spirit permeates throughout your football program and on defense and even on offense as well.
And then I interviewed Trey Teague the other day. When I went back and watched the game, I saw Peyton Manning's comments. Do you notice that stuff, particularly when you contrast it with maybe the way former Miami players were so outspoken against Al Golden?
Our former players have been outstanding. All you have to do is look at our sidelines at Alabama, Joey Kent, Todd Kelly Sr. I could go on and on. You spoke about Trey. You spoke about Peyton. All the former players that have been here throughout the course of the year, the amount of support that they've provided to our coaching staff, to our players, to myself. And that's what it's all about, one family. And there isn't anyone who knows Tennessee football better than Peyton Manning. And for Peyton Manning to say those things, that means a lot. But he also sees what's going on because He's invested a lot in our football program. He's around our players now. He's been around our program for the last few years, so he sees the progress that we're making. So that meant a lot, and he's a great friend. And anytime he can be on our sidelines and in our locker room, that's what Tennessee football is all about. You're talking about the greatest football player, greatest quarterback of all time, and he's a Tennessee Vol.
Butch, Cam had that injury late in the Florida game. Do you think that's still bothering him at all? It seems like he's maybe a little bit of a step slower than maybe he has been in other times in his career.
No, he's fine. He's done his due diligence in the training room and all that, so there hasn't been any lingering effects of any injuries with him. He's wore down a lot now. He's played a lot of snaps, and that's what we talk about with Justin Martin giving us quality snaps and his playing time increasing. And we have to continue to recruit and develop that position. But, over a course of a long season, especially in the SEC, that's why depth is paramount, especially when you're getting into the weeks now that we're getting into.
Butch, how much progress have the returning wide receivers made this year? And I guess the bottom line of my question is, have they gotten better, or where do you see improvement?
Absolutely. All of them have gotten better. And first of all, their mental toughness. These individuals are playing through fatigue. They're playing through pain. Their knowledge of the game, their route technique. There was one, we run a double post to Josh Malone. He has press man. He releases inside. He leans him. He sticks him and makes the catch, and then gets about, I want to say, 8-9 extra yards of yak yards after that. That's progress. He wouldn't have been able to do that last year. Josh Smith is finally back healthy. Josh Smith didn't have a spring. A lot of these individuals also miss spring with injuries. Jonathan Johnson's been limited all year. Again, he continues to get better. You look at the progress. Von Pearson, he missed most of training camp. Von's starting to get back. Marquez North, unfortunately, has been slowed by injury, but he works at it. He works his craft every day. He studies. He's out there practicing. I see improvements in his game. It's just we haven't had much consistency there because of injuries, and you learn through repetitions. And we've been set back there. But I think that group has done a very good job, and they do continue to develop and progress.
Coach, to that end, how much did establishing the running game early really help open the passing game and go play action a couple times?
Well, anytime you can be balanced on offense, it's going to help you. And when you can run the football effectively, and I always use the term efficiently, that's going to lend itself to giving you more opportunities in the throw game, particularly in the run action and play action pass game. So anytime you can establish the run and run the ball with efficiency, that's going to help set up your throw game. And then there's going to be times when, down the road here, we're going to need the pass game, to set up the run game as well. But anytime you can get Jalen Hurd going, you can get Alvin Kamara going, I think that helps. And I'm going to continually talk about it, I think Jalen Hurd is one of the best backs in the country. I don't think he's getting the recognition that he deserves. Always talk about, when you're evaluating a running back, does he get what the play is just blocked for, or does he get the yards after contact? Does he have the ability to make somebody miss? You can have a 1,000-yard rusher, and those plays are blocked to be a 1,000-yard rusher. It's what do the individuals do? Does he get the extra yards? Does he get the hard-earned yards? Does he make a drop-down safety miss? If you kind of look at the flavor of college football and even in the National Football League, most explosive plays in the run game are based upon making the second-level defender miss. If your safeties don't tackle in their space, in their box, don't win their area, that's going to lend itself for big plays. And I think Jalen has done a phenomenal job all year. He had 92 hard-earned yards Saturday against one of the premier defenses in the country. We're going to need his efforts down the road, some of the second, third efforts that Alvin brought to the table as well. But I think Jalen Hurd needs to start being in the conversation of elite running backs.
You had mentioned earlier that the goals are still intact, and your main goal is to be a better program and team each and every day. But when you look ahead, there's 5 games left in the season. What do you consider a successful end of the season record this year at this point, and what do you consider maybe kind of a failure?
Right. I don't look at it that way. I still think it's a week-to-week season. I don't like the term failure. I think that's a negative connotation. Everything we do is about positive and moving forward. So it's a week-to-week season. We're getting better as a football team. We're getting better as a football program each and every day. That's why Peyton Manning and individuals say what they say, because they see it and they believe in it. The Trey Teagues, they believe in it. And we just need to continue to put our head down and grind. And it's a week-to-week season. I'm only interested in a one-game winning streak. And then you move on from there and you continue to build upon it. But you can never get ahead of yourself. You have to focus on the process. And the only thing we're concerned with right now is being a better football team today. How do you build confidence? You set attainable goals. And when you set obtainable goals, you create new goals for yourself and you continue to move forward with everything that you do. So we have to be a better football team today than we were yesterday. And that's simply the goal.